all the time.
Why was I about to say it right now? You took the words out of my mouth, girl. You know. Welcome to Manifest Her. This is a very, very special edition that we have today. So you can see we have a really, really special guest with us today, Morgan Benson.
So excited.
So excited. Morgan, I've known Morgan for several years. I remember the very first time I met Morgan, and we used to work together, and I saw her in the break room. I'm sure she remembers this too. And we were in the break room, and I'm like, oh my God, like, hi. We just started like kikiing over some coffee, and we're like making our coffee for the day. And we instantly connected. Literally, she was like my spirit animal from the moment I met her.
That is the best way to describe her. She is everyone's spirit animal. She's amazing.
Where has she been all my life? Oh my gosh. And she had just came in and she was new and from out of state. And she was living in Sugar House at the time. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I love Sugar House. And we just every day from then on, we'd like kiki over coffee. And it was just amazing. I've gotten to know her. She became my manager and was the most amazing, like best ever manager. Her style is kind of why we brought her on today, because what she's going to talk about today is what she brought into her management style. And it was top notch. Like she took her team, especially me, to different levels. And so we just really started creating this very special bond, you know, and we stayed in touch. Neither of us are there. We're both entrepreneurs now and so super close. She was supposed to come to New Orleans and she got sick.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the very, very amazing Morgan Benson.
Yay!
Thank
So excited
you.
to have you. I'm so excited. I also worked with Morgan. The three of us worked together. I don't remember the first time I met you, but I wish I did because I'm sure it was life-changing. Yes. But her energy is just off the charts. She makes everyone feel so good. And
Yes.
the reason we have her on is because she is now a human design coach. Is that what you call it? Is there like more to it, or do you call it human design coach? Okay. Yeah.
Yep, you are.
She's the best. I'm so excited to talk to her about it. But aside from that, like she used to be a therapist, which she's not obviously doing therapy in her coaching, but her knowledge of how people think, how we work, like that kind of stuff, she has helped me through some of the most difficult moments of my life. Like she is amazing. She just moved. Was it in July that you moved?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she moved in July. So I'm excited to hear about all of that. So we're going to just catch up a little bit and then we'll talk about human design.
Yay! Thank you both. Oh, it's just so lovely to be in your presence. And I have to say, like, the second that I heard you two were doing a podcast, I like shrilled. I was like, so excited because you both just have such beautiful perspectives. And I love being in your presence. And I mean, you know, I feel a little special because I know you. And I know that when I listen to your podcast, I just feel this beautiful, delicious energy that is just so supportive and just so connected. And you two just have this way about being with each other that it makes it feel like I'm eating lunch with my friends.
Yeah.
And so, and that's part of my like, one of my daily routines is that I put you two on my podcast and I sit there and I eat my lunch and I just listen and I laugh.
Aww.
And I'm just so excited to be here. So yeah, so thank you so much. I guess just maybe a little bit about me and my background. I worked together with both Britney and Niki and in a corporate job. And yeah, no, honestly, corporate's great. It's just not for me. And when I learned that corporate wasn't for me in terms of learning how to like use my energy correctly, what are the things that I need out of an environment in my job? What do I need in terms of support? How do I process information, which I all learned with human design? It really just changed the game for me. And to learn that like, yeah, it's actually more aligned for me to kind of be doing this thing that I'm doing now. I just feel like this weight. I feel this lightness. I feel this air of just like, yeah, this is going to be hard, but I can do it. And environment that wasn't supportive of that, it was, this is going to be hard. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I even have the support to get this done. There was just always so many lingering questions and like a crunchiness to it. And I'm all about being jiffy. I'm smooth peanut butter right now.
Like water, baby.
I love that. There's nothing better than being aligned with what you do. Like I still work at the same company that the three of us worked at, but I'm not doing the same job. I'm a data analyst, and it is to a T me. I love my job. If I like blew up and became super successful, I think it would take a lot for me to leave because I really love it. And I've been like thinking about it a lot lately because as I'm editing the podcast, I'm spending easily 30 hours a week on doing all of that and posting on social media and all of that. And I'm still working 40 hours. So I'm working a lot, but I love it. Like when I'm doing it, and the editing is very similar to my job because it's like you sit and you try to figure out how to make something work. And then it finally does. And you're like, yes. And it's like the best feeling ever. So I feel very aligned in what I'm doing, even though I'm doing both and I'm very busy. They're both very good jobs. So just that feeling of like different things work for different people. But as long as you're aligned with what you're doing, that is all that matters. And I'm so, so happy for both of you that you guys are like moving on to what really works for you. And you don't have to be in that energy anymore. I love it.
Honestly, when you were talking, all I could hear is Niki in the background in my head going, Morgan, different strokes for different folks.
Oh my God! All the time.
Why was I about to say it right now? You took the words out of my mouth, girl. You know.
You know what that says to me is that just goes to show that when you find the women who are here for you and here for it, you make an impact. Niki and I used to talk every single day, multiple times a day. And we don't talk as much anymore. And we don't have that opportunity when you're built-in friends because you have to be because you work in the same cubicle. It's so different. And I still hear you in the back of my head. Different strokes for different, just your little nuggets of like delicious, juicy, like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's just different. And to just like give yourself that permission. There's just so much permissioning to remember that like, even though it doesn't work for me, doesn't mean it's not going to work for somebody else, and both get to be here.
Yes. Love that. Really quickly before I forget and my water gets cold, I gotta put my tea in. I got another mug, you guys.
Okay,
it says Swift tea. It's so cute. I can't even. I'm so happy. So Morgan, you have to tell me which kind you think I should try. I'm gonna tell you the kinds. Ready? Okay. Decaffeinated breakfast tea, lemon and orange, Earl Grey, English breakfast. I don't know how to say it. It's ASSAM. Assam? I don't know. Assam? Or organic chamomile.
Okay. Well, chamomile is definitely one that's like a lower kind of calmer vibe, which I'm bringing that Leo rising today. So
yes, about that one. That's good.
But I feel like I remember you saying you didn't like the Earl Grey.
So Earl Grey, I have never had. It's the peppermint that I don't like, and I didn't give you that as an option. Yeah. So Earl Grey is what I should try.
Earl Grey is my favorite. Okay, so the best way that I have ever had it is you can get like a little bit of lavender. But if you put a little lavender in it with like your favorite milk, so like an oat milk, an almond milk, a cream, and then just a touch of honey. Oh,
I didn't know that people add cream to tea.
You better make that tea,
you guys.
Girl.
I am like a tea beginner. I don't have any of that stuff. Okay, by next week, I'm gonna have creamer, and I bought some sugar, so I have sugar.
Hi.
I'm so frustrated. I'm gonna fight the internet gods, but it's fine. Okay, moving on. I got my tea in. Now we can move on.
Yes. Now you got your tea in. I love to do, so Niki and I were just talking about making like lavender simple syrups.
So did you hear my lavender simple syrup?
No, what are you putting in it?
Oh yeah, I was telling Morgan, because remember we were talking about our teas and I sent you, so I just have like pure chamomile and pure lavender, just like leaves dehydrated. And so I get online and I look up all these recipes now where it's like, okay, what can I do with my pure lavender? I make moon milk with it to help me sleep at night. Oh yeah, I use it in spells. I got some in a satchel on my pillow that I sleep with, really vivid dreams. But I made this lavender simple syrup, which is really just sugar. You can make some with vodka depending on what you're trying to make, but it's just sugar and lavender, like really nothing. And you melt it down into a syrup, and I put it in a pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving and had a lavender pumpkin pie. Such a hit. And I'm just like, I put it in everything, my tea, my cocktail, my chai, everything. Anything I can put with this lavender simple syrup that I made, I'm putting in there. And it's just like, I'm obsessed.
So good. Yum. I made a peach lavender jam over the summer. So if you're like, I love charcuterie boards. I like that. That's such a vibe for me. And so,
Yeah.
I made that peach lavender jam. And when I bought the peaches fresh in the summertime, they were just so sweet and juicy. And then I added that lavender with it, just made a regular jam like you normally
I wish
would.
I would have had.
So good. And then pour it over like cream cheese if you want to like make a dip. So you can have like that cheese and that dip. So good. Yeah. Definitely do the peach and lavender when you're ready for something.
You're speaking my language. I remember I used to live in Farmington in Utah, and this house that I was renting, the house on the other side had like these peach trees all in their yard that hung over the fence. And so they would fall on my side, and I could just go out there and collect all these peaches off the ground and make like all the peach things. I would make a peach sangria. Girl.
So good.
Sangria. You ain't never had my sangria. I'm gonna have to make that.
I
Ask Britney. I made her mom. Was it her mom or her grandma? Her some sangria for her birthday. I think it was her grandma actually, for her birthday. I'm like sangria lady. Like people fall in love with this.
I love it. That's something really fun to like share as like like share as like a recipe or of just just little nuggets that you create. I'm all about
She made me sangria for my birthday one year. It was the best thing I've ever tried, and she doesn't remember what kind it was. She can't redo it. It's so sad.
Then I made it for your grandma, right?
For my mom.
Your mom.
So do you want to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's play.
Tell us. So for the people who have never heard of human design, like, will you do like an explanation of the basics of what it is, why it's so amazing, all the things?
Yeah, sure. So I love to start out with the journey of how I got there, because I think that a lot of people have kind of dealt with what I've gone through, which is just a lack of confidence. And that is what I use human design for. It's what has been the biggest benefit to me. It's how I work with my clients. Is it helps you build confidence. It gives you a very specific language to describe what you intuitively already know about yourself, but just may not have the words to say yet. And that's what it does. It just offers this like new insight and new language. You're like, oh, yeah, like that is me. And then when you play with the side that is unconscious to you, because the cool part about human design is that there's a side that's conscious and a side that's unconscious. And typically when I do like my first little initial reading, the unconscious side I'll go over. They're like, and I'm like, just experiment. Like, just try it. See how that will feel. And when you walk into a room and you say to yourself, people see me as insert trait here. it shifts your entire demeanor of how you are walking into that room. And it's just mind-blowing to be like, yeah, people see me like that. And then the attraction, the magnetism that starts to show up, and you're just like, whoa, oh my God, whoa, that's me. Like, okay, like I'm gonna be in it. Okay. That's why they call it an experiment.
Yes. That just a segue off of what you said, because I've experienced this firsthand working with you. Like when we worked together, I went from such lows. Like Morgan was with me where I had no power, no confidence, like just such a different lens, right? And all these gut punches by life. And she worked with me one-on-one and took me to a new confidence level, right? Just by helping me to reframe this lens, right? And I started being top of everything, and really, getting back into my power where I wanted to be. And it was her working with me and saying, look, how are you looking at yourself, right? How are you looking at the situations, right? There's always a different lens for everything, whether it's a self, like introspection, whether it's external people you're dealing with. And she would give me these different lenses, and we would talk about these tools. And this human design tool was just so juicy and yummy. And it's really what brought us so close, because I just felt like she really cared about me to use
I do.
this type of tool,
Yeah. I agree with you, because what it does is that it turns care into something tangible, something nuanced. That's more than just, I care about you because you have cool energy. It's I care about you because this is how your energy is showing up. And when you show up in this power, I've got you. I can have you when you're in this power. When you're in this low vibration, we're going to have to talk. We're going to have to figure that out. But when you're in the high vibe and you know what high vibe you want to be in, you're like, all right, let's go. Let's play. Like, let's collaborate. And so there's just so much more. It's literally like, I feel like I'm always like putting my fingers to my mouth when I talk about it, because it's so tasty.
It is.
It's so tangible. And what I love to tell people who are new to human design is I love to say, like, you think astrology is cool? You think knowing your big three is cool? This, way cooler.
Next level.
Next level. Because human design teaches you how to use the traits that you have in your chart.
Yes.
In the 3D, in the now and in the plane. How do I use my energy correctly? It is so different than just like, oh, Leo rising. Right. I'm just this big person. It's like, what do I do with that? What do I do with that? Oh, yes, energetically. And that's what human design teaches you, is how to energetically use your birth chart in the 3D so that we can feel more compassionate.
Yes.
We can feel more uplifted, more confident,
yes.
more authentically ourselves, rooted in that central channel, just doing it every day. And you wake up and you're like, I got this. Yeah, this is hard. And this is crunchy. And this is so irritating to the biggest end. And it's okay, because I feel so aligned. Even in that crunch, I'm like, oh.
Yes. I love that you say 3D, because as soon as you were like describing it and I'm living it, what came to my mind was a map. It's like that map. I've often felt like when I feel lost or overwhelmed, whether it's personally or professionally, I would feel like I've got all the pieces, or I should know where to go. Right. But I can't quite put these directions. They're out of order, and human design is like, here's your like aligned, like just follow it, and then you can apply it 3D. A lot of what you taught me was like, it does not belong to you, and realizing with my own personal human design what belonged to me and what didn't. And that was crucial. And you would teach me like physical, aren't there like physical exercises you would integrate with it? Like, girl, ring it out. Ring out that core.
Yep. And that's part of my human design, is like my blazing sun energy is literally titled embodiment. And so that's why you'll hear me say so often, what does that feel like in your body? And that's a huge aspect of how I do my coaching sessions. It's how I lead. I'm also a breathwork facilitator, so I facilitate breathwork in person. And so when I'm facilitating breathwork and when I'm doing human design coaching, I sit here and I'll ask you, what does that feel like in your body?
Yes.
Can you find the place where it's coming up? Really, and like taking those moments to really close. That's why you see me close my eyes a lot, because I'm going inward and feeling where it's like manifesting in my body, and to really just sit and to close your eyes, maybe placing a hand on the heart, and just really taking a scan. Where do I feel this tension? Where do I feel this tightness? Where is this emotion coming from in my body? And to just be like, it's this deepness in that central channel that you can rely on at any time. At any time, you can grab onto it and be like, yep, here I am. Hi, Morgan, I see you're here. All this other stuff, it's just noise and distraction. But here, this is where the truth is it is in me.
Yes. And this human design goes deep. Like, there's so many different levels. And so if it's your first time, definitely dip your toe. But once you put a toe in it, I'm telling y'all, you're going to want to go deeper. Get yourself a good coach, Morgan. We're definitely going to have all the contact information. But it just is so deep. And there's so many different levels. That's why she says 3D. Like, just to bring that back, and the tangibleness, and how she's like, I always want to, every time we would talk about it, and you'll probably see us doing it today, like it's yummy, it's tangible, because you can feel, right? These are things that are words, that are principles, that are actions that you can't necessarily see, right? But you can feel them within, and you can apply them, and you can embrace them, and they literally change how you react to situations that come your way. It does. It helps you heal wounds, the human design, because the more you understand about yourself, you can go back through your life and say, oh yeah, that's why these things didn't go so great in my life. You know, she would talk about it from all different levels. She talked about the trimesters of my life. Like, there's just so many different levels. I want y'all to understand. We're just giving you a really brief touch of it today, but it really is just multifaceted and goes super deep into that ocean of what human design can do for you. But it helps you to understand the past, present, and apply it to the future. Welcome back, Brittany.
Thank you. I am so sad because every time I hear like little pieces, I'm like, it's so beautiful what you're saying, and I'm so sad that I'm missing it. So I don't know what all you have said, but I will say, with my experience with you, the first reading you did was for me and my kids. Changed everything for me. It was so amazing. The biggest thing on my own design at that point was the needing to be invited, because that's so me. And so many people like expect you, as my mom especially. She's like, you're the children. You should be reaching out. You should be visiting. But I'm like, invite me to come over and I'll come. And I just like, that's how I am. And in friendships too, like I'll be really distant, but if you invite me to something, I'm there. And that's just like such a big, it's part of who I am. And I've always felt really guilty about that. But now I have zero guilt, none. When people say that, I'm just like, I understand in my mind that it's because I wasn't invited, and I don't have to feel bad about that because that's who I am. So that was huge for me. And then for my daughters, one of my daughters has gone through so many struggles, and so her human design, and knowing that like her struggles are because of her design. And I don't want to say like all the details of that's her stuff, but it really helped with me knowing that that's who she is. And it's not like, because you can put a lot of blame on yourself as a mother of like, she's not happy enough. I'm not doing enough. How do I make her feel better? But then when it's her design, and it's like, okay, I have to actually teach her how to handle these things better, how to move through it better, instead of you just need to be happy. You just need to see the positive in things. That's just not how she is. And that's okay. And my other daughter, this girl, she is singing at the top of her lungs 24/7. We're watching a show and she is talking through it. the entire time. She does not stop talking. And I'm just like, I used to be like, will you be quiet? Like, you're making me crazy. I'm overstimulated. Shut your mouth. And then now she's like, she'll be doing it. And my other daughter, she'll get frustrated too. And she's like, be quiet. But now it's her design because I can't remember exactly what it's called, but her like throat is, I can't. Yeah.
Throat center, yep.
Yeah. And so now when she's doing it, like, my other daughter would get mad at her, and I'm like, you just gotta let her be. That's her design. It's just leave her alone. And it's not frustrating to me anymore. So the little things that, like, as a parent, it's very overwhelming, but those things that when you realize that that's how they are, your children are not like you. You can teach them to be like as similar to you as you can, but they're not you. And that's why they grow up to be their own adults, their own people. And for me, seeing my kids as their own individual people with their individual design and how they're meant to lead their life has helped me in my parenting immensely. And actually, now that I think about it, we have become insanely close over the last couple of years. And I think it started from that. I really do. Like, it was the first step of me seeing them as people and not my kids that I have to just like get through the age. And I feel like now we are going to be best friends for our whole life. And I think that knowing their design is what really helped.
I love that you say that. So when I first found human design, I think we should maybe talk about, for the people who do know about HD, maybe we can all say like what our profile is and what because I think this is really fun. All of us have a 6 in our profile.
Yeah, that's why we're so amazing, doing all the things, being seen.
So I'm a 6'2" manifester. Niki, what are you again?
I'm a 5'6" projector.
No, 4'6".
4'6". Okay.
I'm a 4'6" projector. Me and Niki are the same. Yeah.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
We're the same.
Fun. Okay, so that's fun first. And then second, when I found human design and I called my mom, I was like, Dina, listen to this. Mm-hmm. And when I told her all about it, because manifestors make up 9% of the human design population. And I have a lot of like internal struggles with just feeling so different. Mm-hmm. And growing up in a religious household where I only went to school with the same 60 people from kindergarten to 8th grade, and then only 125 other new people from high school. So I struggled a lot growing up, not fitting in and not looking the part, I guess you could say. And so when I called my mom and basically told her, like, Mom, like, I am so different and here's how I'm different and this is how I'm supposed to use my energy correctly, she was like, oh my God, Morgan, if I would have known this, I would have parented you so differently.
Yep.
I would have shifted every way. And she's a projector. She's also a therapist. So like, just so good. And so now, right, like one of my goals is that I want every parent to know their design and their child's design.
Yes.
So, can you imagine you two being 6 years old and coming home from school and being like, they didn't invite me. They didn't invite me and it hurts so bad. And to have a parent say, that's okay, baby. If you're supposed to be invited, you will. Instead of having a parent say, well, did you ask? Did you say that it's your turn or that you wanted to go? Well, you didn't say anything, so how would they know?
Oh.
And that like feels so wrong to me. That like makes my insides just like, ugh. I don't like that. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh, I was gonna say, like, for me, like as a manifester, I am here, like my energetic design, the way my aura shows up in energy is it's called repelling. It bounces off people. When I walk into a room, you feel my energy. I slap you in the face, whether you like it or not, you'll feel it. And that I spent years going, why doesn't everybody like me? I only have a couple people who like me. Why doesn't everybody like me? I'm literally not designed for it. And like my energy is going to bounce off other people, and the people who I invite, my projectors that I am so like almost all of my best friends are projectors or manifesting generators. Like those are my peeps. Like we're just, and so it's really interesting when you start to recognize that it's just energy instead of what's wrong with me.
Yes. It makes a huge difference. That knowledge of it's who I am takes away all the questioning of like my confidence. I think is improved, like everything. I think that's the biggest difference between like horoscopes, astrology, and human design is like astrology is fun. You can read your horoscope, see like sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, like knowing about people a little bit. And same with like doing tarot. It makes me feel really good. I can do it for the year. It'll give me like an idea of the energy. But human design is like who I am at my core, not like saying this is what's going to happen in your life, even though some things are that way. But it's like, this is who you are. This is who you're meant to be. And when you, like for me and Niki being 4/6s, like the 4 is like bringing other people together, making like introduce this person to this person. And I do that all the time. And now when I do it, I'm like, I'm doing my design and I'm so happy about it. It makes me so happy. And like the 6 is like being like what we're doing. Like we're showing up, we're putting ourselves out there, we're leading other women, we're doing all these things, and knowing that that's who I'm meant to be. It helps like continue, because sometimes social media is exhausting. It is exhausting. But when I know that I'm supposed to be doing this, I'm like, okay, it's going to work eventually because it's my design. And I also know that as a 6, like we come into like our real power stuff when we're 50, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm like 12 years away. If I keep going for 12 years, all of a sudden everything is going to be amazing. It's just like, I really think about it all the time.
Oh, same. The 6 profile is one of my favorite aspects of human design, period. Obviously, we're biased, right?
Yeah.
But like for anyone out there who has a 6 in their profile, there is a lot of permission to know that you are the only profile that has 3 distinct phases of life. That your first birth to 27 years before that first Saturn return, you spend your life acting like a 3. And 3 profiles are here to experiment. They're here to say yes and taste and do all of these things because that's how they interpret the world and how they translate it. And we live our life like a 3. And then about 27, 28 years old, there's this shift that happens where we go aloof on the roof.
Aloof on the roof.
It's so good. We're all aloof on the roof right now, right? But what it does is that it's literally here where its purpose is to help us pull back from the drama and pull back from making a lot of mistakes and saying yes to so many things and letting our bodies energetically rest so that we can be prepared for our 3rd phase. And our 3rd phase is like I call us the Golden Girls. It is that final stage where we take all of our life experiences we had in our 1st phase, all of the observations we made while on the roof of our 2nd phase, and then we integrate them together and we make that mess our message.
Yes.
It becomes this new beautiful experience of like, this is what I did. This is what I learned from what other people were doing. And now we're going to make this new thing. And then we get to teach. And that is just such a huge aspect of the 6 line, is that we are here to help guide people to a new way of thinking, feeling, being, walking on this earth, and teaching them the why behind it. It's not just this is how you do it. It's this is why. Because of my experiences, this is how we are empathetic and relating to people. It's really, really freaking cool. I love the 6 line. It's just so much hope, especially after dealing with the bullshit of 27 and then no.
Yes. I'm so curious. Did you guys notice a shift? Did something happen when you turned 27? I want to know you're 27. Tell me about it.
Oh, you want to hear my set of return?
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot, so Niki, if you want to share yours, I would love to hear yours.
Yeah, there is a shift. Now, before I get to the shift, I did want to take it back real quick to the parenting and the child because it really resonated with me. And I just want to kind of speak on that and marinate in that, if you will, for a moment. Childhood was really, really rough, right? And I'm thinking, man, if things could be different, like I had so much, which you've heard me talk about in previous episodes, self-confidence and self-love issues and things like that, younger me. So I'm just thinking a different lens. If my mom had had this, human design knowledge, and she could tell me all those times, right? Imagine being bullied, but understanding, right, why and what it is about you, right? That people might want to bully, and then you can have more power over that, right? And take control. Imagine your mom just consoling you, like, you just took me to a place. I went back to my childhood, and I'm like, yes, young Niki really would have been such a powerful, much more powerful person. But I believe in our journeys, right? And everything I went through obviously creates who I am today. But for parents going forward, putting this in your tool belt, I got grandchildren. So if y'all listening up, children, human design, incorporate it into your parenting skill set, because really just teaching. And then I think about it from that lens too, as a parent. Like, oh my gosh, all the different ways I could have approached my children's problems, right? I use it now, but they're adults now, so it applies a little differently. If I could have used this from the time they were young and really tweaked the way, right, that I was handling their problems and their confidence and all the things, like, oh, just imagine, the power that we're equipping ourselves. So I love the fact that that's at the forefront of your mind, is equipping parents so that they can parent a different way. It's a new dawn and a new age, and we got to adapt, right, and grow. As far as the change, yes, to get back to that, I did definitely notice. Now, I was a young parent. I was pregnant in high school. I graduated, walked the stage with my oldest in my belly. And so I started out right out the gates. And so it was really different being, in the 20s, because there was so many things. And I love that she said you had to kind of try it, because that was like my motto. People could kind of tell me the things, but I had to taste and experience it all, right? Failures, good, bad, indifferent. It was me doing everything, whether I think about it from a career phase or parenting. When I think about my 20s, I was all over the place and loved it. I didn't see a problem with it. Right. And then, or like the early phase. And then when I hit like 27, 28, right, and I got in there, I have definitely, and I'm 44. I feel like I get more aloof kind of the further and the older I get personally, but I definitely saw that shift, right? I saw it in my parenting styles. Kids are older. I saw it in a career. I saw it with the way that I handled relationships, like my family matters. When I was younger, in that first part, I had to be the one involved for all the family and the fixing and the doing. When I was aloof on the roof, okay, well, y'all gonna have to figure this out. It's not up to me no more, right?
Yep.
Ain't nobody got time to be fixing all the things. I'm hands off. Holler back, right? Invite me.
Yeah, invite me, or else it's not happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, real quick, that I just wanted to say was just like the invite that Brittany mentioned that we really share. That has been big, and understanding that about myself and needing that invite and how that applies in different areas and different ways was really critical in my self growth. And also just kind of understanding, like, as a projector, we attract people into our orbit. So it gave me a different lens, right, to understand and go back over my life and understand why sometimes we're great, right, or why I attracted certain people. It really just helps you to review, right, what went on in the past so that you can do better. I attract. That's what we would do, right? People align. I didn't get that when I was younger and didn't know about human design, but I'm an introvert. I needed to be a projector because I wouldn't have had no friends. I wouldn't have had nothing. I wasn't approaching nobody.
Yep.
You can come to me, okay?
Yep.
That is so funny.
It is.
Yeah.
How about you, Morgan?
Oh, mine was like so
Go
dramatic.
ahead, Morgan. I cut you off.
Oh,
Really?
No, you're good. Oh no, you're good. Yeah. Are you really surprised that mine was dramatic?
A little bit. You are such a non-dramatic person. I can't imagine you being dramatic.
I forget that, like, y'all only know post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to learn about you. Tell us all the things.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Okay, so when I was 27 years old, I had moved back. How do I start this? So my husband and I have been married since 2020, but we dated back in 2013. We met on Tinder when like Tinder was brand new. It like was not a thing yet. We met and just we weren't at a place to date. We both had really, really, really deep feelings for each other. But someone, wasn't me, was ready to get married and like start this big life. And, he was like, I'm in the military. Like, I'm like doing stuff. Like, what do you mean? Like that? No. So we parted ways. I was in a relationship with somebody else after that. And I was in that relationship for a year. And then out of nowhere, he said, you're not the one. Literally, like, called me to his house and just said, hey, I'm sorry, you're not the one. And that, I was just like, what? What are you, sorry, what are you doing? What does that even mean? Like, are you even speaking English right now? Like, what? So I burned it all to the ground. I left. I was living in Orange County, California at the time. I left everything, canceled my lease early, got broken up with, was moved back to my hometown. When I moved back to my hometown, it was horrible. It was awful. It was just the worst. And I started dating like one of my brother's friends who was like younger than me. He was so darling and so sweet. And I knew that like he wanted to take our relationship to another level. I could feel that,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew it wasn't for me. And so I reached out to my now husband and I basically just said to him, sir, listen, like,
I don't know what you think, but you're wrong.
yeah, like, can we just do this? Can we really give this the old college go? Like, for real this time, like none of this back and forth pretend, like, and yeah, that, which is so much ManifestHER vibes right there to just like initiate that.
Yes.
He's also a manifester. So we initiate each other and then we wonder why nothing gets done because we're trying to
Sounds like me and Jensen.
It's really hilarious. But yeah, I mean, that was 2017 when I reached out to him and I just basically said, hey, listen, like, this guy I'm with, he's great, but he's not for me. And I know you're the one. So if you want to try, let's go. And he was like, absolutely. And 3 weeks later, I moved to San Diego and that was that. So
wow.
That was my big Saturn flip.
Wow. I did know that about your guys' relationship. I just didn't know like the ages and when all of that happened.
No, yeah, I've told. I tell that story because it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it gives so much hope.
Oh yeah, but you know what it is like originally, right? Like, okay, so if you think about it energetically, okay, so Tinder, right? That's how we met. Tinder is a very responsive app. You swipe, you get a notification, you respond to it. That's not for manifestors. Like, that's just not technically aligned at all, right? But what it did is it did give me access to this person who's just so wonderful and so special. So, like, I'm so glad for it. But originally, when we first started dating and having this experience together, is we were both in response. And as manifestors, that's not what we're we're here to do. We're here to initiate and to get things started. And so it took time, right, for both of us to learn that, like, and also, sorry, back, another aspect of the conditioned manifester is that we act like generators because we've been so slighted, not knowing how to use our energy correctly. What we do is we become bulls in china shops. We run over people energetically. And our strategy is, instead of waiting for the invitation, we inform and then act. But for the most part, we just start acting. We're act. And then we get all wrapped up in this acting, and people are like, that sucks. Can you not treat me like that? What are you doing? Like, you need to calm down. So that's why we have to inform before we act. And so finally, when I informed, like, hey, listen, this is the thing, right?
Yes.
We entered into that relationship correctly, is what you would say in human design. We entered into the relationship correctly, and now it's just like, of course it's easy. Of course it's easy. And we can always fall back in when, you know, because life happens, life gets in the way, we get distracted, things come up. But for me, I can always go back to that moment and like feel this like tangible cellular experience of like, that was the most aligned decision I ever made. And like,
oh, that's so beautiful.
it feels good. But we get to use our energy like that all the time. That's just like the big stuff, you know? But when you start to use your energy correctly and start to get really curious and start to see like, ooh, is this for me? Let me try this out. How's that going to feel? It's like so cool because you're in your experiment. So you're just experimenting all the time with like energy and like new stuff. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. Leave it alone. But like, you don't have to subscribe to anything. But if you don't try it, you'll never know. And if it's not working for you right now, why wouldn't you try something new? If the way you've been doing it isn't working, why would you not try this thing that's like literally just bullet points of what to do? None of this nuanced weird stuff. Bullet point. This is what you do. Why would you not?
Love that.
Yes.
Sorry. I get on my soapboxes.
Oh, I love it.
No, that's juicy. There's a couple points I'm going to come back to. But Brittany.
Can you guys hear me? Am I...
Ah.
Okay. My computer's being weird. I'm frustrated. Okay. So when I was 27, so I got divorced when I was either 30 or 31. But my daughter was born when I was 26. And once she was born is when my marriage started falling apart. And when I turned 27 was like when I started really thinking, like I always said, for 3 years before I got divorced, I thought I wanted a divorce every single day. Every day. But I wasn't strong enough to leave. And 3 years before I got divorced was when I turned 27. And that's when I started being like, this is not what I want. So it took me time to follow the right path. But leaving that marriage is the best thing I have ever done for myself, for my kids. It was hard as heck. But now looking back, I'm like, I'm so grateful that I hit that 27 and I was like, this is not the life for me. This is horrible. And so I left.
Yeah, I always like to paint the picture of like we spend our first phase of life. We're at the party. It's like we've gone to a house party, right? And we're at this party and we are looking so good and we're in it and we're feeling good and we're kissing everybody. We're doing beer bongs, like, you know, keg stands, like doing all the things, saying yes to everything. We're throwing up, we're rallying, like we're in it, right? Like that's the first 27 years of just like going so hard. That's what it is. It's like going so hard. And it not working and then working and then not working and then not working and then being in this like weird space, right? And then it's like 27, 28 hits and then we just are like, I'm done. Fuck this. Can I say that? Do we curse on this podcast?
Yes, you can. And I just
Fuck this.
Like there was just such a change, I promise you, between the phases of like a maturity and I like the way that you describe it, like a party, because for me it literally was like trying everything all the time, especially in my career. I had so many jobs. Jensen to this day will make fun of me.
I
He's
didn't
like,
even think about how many jobs I had during that time. New insight.
like, oh, you did that
wow.
too.
Oh my God, I love it.
So many jobs, Morgan. I can do that. Oh, got fired. Oh well, I can do that. Up, bored, quit. I can go do this.
I never even thought about how many
3 jobs
I had.
at once. Like all the things. I just had so many. It was literally like if I saw it and felt like I could do it, I could do it. No experience, didn't matter, right? I was just trying all the jobs.
So...
Coming back on and hearing you guys laugh is like the greatest thing ever. I love the sounds of your laughs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Brittany, we were talking about how 6 lines have a lot of jobs in their first phase. Did you have a lot of jobs?
Oh yeah, I did. I switched jobs a ton. And since I got divorced, I've had the same job. It's been like 12 years of the same job.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I'm like, I didn't finally keep the same job until...
Yeah, that's so true. I never would have thought of that. That's so crazy.
Wow. I love it. What a fun insight. And it paints such a clear picture of like how that energy is showing up, right?
Yes.
Like it's just energetically, like, and I know I've said it so many times and I'm probably going to say it 900 more times. Like the energy that you're putting in, like it matters. There's so much intention that we can create with our energy. And we also like, especially I think you two, right? Because you're both projectors, you have this enveloping aura. You're pulling in the energy of other people all the time.
Yeah.
Like it is like, it's not technically called enveloping. It's more penetrating where it's like, it seeps into other people, but it's like, but it pulls people in that regard. And I did read this the other day that I thought was so cool. It was, projectors are the true people's people. Like, yeah. Marinate with that for a moment. The true people's people. Like you as projectors, the way that you learn best about about yourself is actually through communicating with other people. You try on these different flavors, basically different outfits, whatever you want to call it, right? You try these like things on based on what other people are experiencing, and then depending on your design, you may amplify what they've got going on. You may have that already inside, so it feels a little more like steady instead, like steadfast. But it's really interesting to think about how if you even just know what your type for human design is and where you make your decisions best from in your body, those are like all the rest of the stuff is just like the fun frilly things that like help you. If you want just like bare minimum, know how to make your best decisions, why would you not want to know where you make decisions from in your body? Like it's like, oh, I don't have to worry about what's going on up here. This part of me that's so loud and it's just telling me all the things, right? Like the mind is not meant to be trusted. Like the mind helps us do a lot of things, but to make decisions, no.
Let's talk a little bit about energy, right? Just in case this is someone's first time, maybe you aren't used to hearing people talk about things in terms of energy and energetics. And that's really a lot of the focus, obviously, of human design. So just tell us a little bit, Morgan, what is energy to you? How does that work in your mind?
Ooh, so when I think about energy for me and how it relates to human design is it is the felt sense that you create in other people. When you show up into a room and you're this, people feel that. When you show up into a room and you're this, people feel that. And
Yes.
it takes time,
Yes.
effort, and energy,
Mm.
meaning tangible, actionable steps to get to
Mm.
this from this, right? And
Mm.
we need permission, right? As human beings, we need so much permission. We need someone who's
Yes.
going to say, that's okay. Just try it. Just do
Yes.
that thing. It's okay. It's okay. It's go ahead. No big deal. We need people to
Yes.
say that to us. Am I a recovering permissioner? Absolutely. I would love to live every single day where I give myself permission
Yes.
instead of seeking permission from another person.
Yes.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Like I know that the day I have transcended into like the spot is the day that I decide I don't need permission from anyone.
Yes.
I just get to give that permission to myself. I say, you go, girl, go do your thing. And then I just go and do it. That's the
Love that.
for me. That's the ticket for me. But so energetically, right? Like what is energy? It really for me is what is that felt sense that other people get from you when you walk into a room or when they're in your space.
Couldn't
Ooh,
have
I
said it
love
better
that.
myself. Thank you. Brittany,
Yeah.
what's energy to you? How would you describe energy or energetics?
I mean, I missed everything you guys just said, so I don't know if I'm going to say, but I think exactly what she said, the energy of like how other people feel around you. Like, I know that when I'm talking about like the people that I have a hard time being around and like that type of stuff, it's because it drains, like the way that I feel around them is either I feel so much happier, so much better, like the way I feel around you guys, the way I feel around the majority of my friends, because I don't surround myself with people who drain my energy anymore. So it's just the way, I think that's exactly what she said, the feeling that you get. And then that's what I view my own as like how I feel. But when I view other people's, it's when they walk in a room. Like Niki walks in a room and really both of you, everyone just gravitates and everyone loves her and Morgan is just like, it's like a different, like
Me, though,
Niki
girl.
like attracts people. Yeah, but like it's different. Like Niki is like, it's the same type of, you guys have the same type of energy if you just look at it, but Niki attracts everyone and you're like just this bubbly, adorable person that like once people know you, you're just like the most amazing, incredible person. So like it's just different energies of how you guys show up, basically the same if people don't really know, but you're both like louder. Like I'm very quiet. You guys are not. And it's different.
Yeah, it really is. And it's our designs. You know what I mean? Like it's our energetic makeup. So if you know, right? Like think like for me, having all of that permission that I am going to show up to a room and I'm not going to attract everybody and that not everybody is going to like me. Having that permission, learning that unfortunately at 30 years old was way late, but it would have been so nice to have had someone say like, even though my mom would say like, Morgan, not everybody's going to like you. I have a projector mom who is darling and beautiful. And it didn't make sense coming from her. I'm like, hello. Every time you walk in a room, everyone's like, you know, like, but like, you know, you come to me and you're like, yeah, like not everybody's gonna like you. I'm like, now I'm like, I'm aware of that. And because I'm aware of that, I give myself a lot more grace. And I know
you really talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just give myself so much more grace. I sit here and I'm like, okay, like it's almost like that check-in that I do with my body is like now I spend time before I walk into a room of people I don't know. Hey Morgan, guess what? You're going to meet a lot of people tonight that you don't know, and that's okay. It's going to feel a little scary. Sometimes it's going to feel really, really awesome. Just know that you are great no matter how they think and feel about you. And when they do think and feel those things about you, that's about them, not about you. Done. Okay.
Beautiful.
And then I walk in with my design going, people see me as joyful. People see me as joyful because that's part of my design. I see myself as embodied. I see myself as like very deeply connected to spirit and to source, but other people see me as joyful. Cool. I'm going to be this joyful person. I'm going to lean into the joy. And the people who are here for it, They're here for it and they're going to pick it up and they're going to grab it. But the people who aren't, they're not. And now I'm okay with that. It is mind blowing to get to be in that confidence of like, cool, fine by me. I got enough friends.
So true. I love that so much. I think about so much is when I'm dating. Like when I start talking to someone, I'm like, I just want Morgan to do a reading for us and tell us how we are compatible. Yeah. But I don't want to like, I mean, when first week we're talking, can I get your birthday and the time you were born? Like they get so scared of that. Yeah. Like as soon as I feel comfortable, I'm going to need to know this information. Yes. You're going to need to call your mom. I need to know exactly the time.
Oh, I have been in like out. It always is. It's my lens. I literally am like walking around with a monocle. That's like human design all day long, every day. It's just, I love it so much. It's like the one thing that I love. But I have been like in a bathroom and talking to you know how we keep in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And this girl's like, oh my God, that sounds so cool. Hold on, let me text my boyfriend. And they're like texting their boyfriends. And I'm like getting their emails. And I'm like, here. And I just like send them a chart real quick. And I know they get it. That. Like, what does this even mean? Like, what is this? It's like the chart is really confusing and very overwhelming.
It is. It is. The way you talk about it when you do readings is so freaking incredible, which we should talk about the things that you offer. But one of the things I think is so freaking cool that you do is the business ones, which I feel like me and Niki should do one together about our podcast because we've done like our individual businesses, but we should do one of the podcasts. That would be so cool.
Yeah. What we can do with that is we can see energetically, what is your podcast? Who is she? What does she show up as? How do other people receive her? What are her core 4 traits? And then you all get to play with that because then you're building what your design is with her design. And then you get to collaborate together. We could even see what are maybe going to be the challenges? What are maybe going to be the shadows that show up here?
Ooh. So good. Love that. We should definitely do that. And just the business, one of the things that you offer, I want to talk about my experience and then we'll definitely have you talk about what you offer. But we just did this, a week ago? Week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I would love
we didn't do this that long ago. And so it's really, really in depth. My personal experience with it as an entrepreneur is it had a lot of aha moments, especially where I get stuck as a projector. It's hard as an entrepreneur if you don't know what to do. You can't figure out why things aren't working. It's really just kind of hard and you can get lost in this abyss. And that's kind of where I was. And she's helping me to bring that back and rein it in and say, like, one of my archetypes was the mountaineer. And that really stuck out because that was one of the biggest ones that's causing me the setback, the hold where I'm getting stuck, kind of energy. And then she'll give you this new lens. Like she'll talk about the shadow, but then she'll talk about the gifts and give you the lens to that shadow. So even though the mountaineer was like this thing, and I'm like, that's the one, right? That's really kind of causing me the angst and things. She's like, but what if you looked at it this way, right? And gave me a new thing to delve into. So that was really, really helpful. We did that right at the end of the year. So I'm going to be utilizing that business for entrepreneurs, human design, to create my 2024. And I can tell y'all, I'm going a totally different direction. Y'all know me as having gem head, right? But after meeting with Morgan, I've been exploring other options. So there are new things to come out there for me. And it really was just, human design is something I would suggest, if you got the budget and if it's aligned, once you do a session, keep doing it. It's not like a necessarily one and done, maybe if that fits the bill. But honestly, I feel like because of my own experience, once you get into it and once you start applying it and having all these aha moments, you want more. It's a thirst. And you're like, oh, yes, give me more understanding from different lenses, whether it's a relationship or a career or a specific entrepreneur or a personal or a right? there's so many different ways that she can do this, right? Or the parenting, we've talked about a couple of different ways already. So that's been my experience. Brittany, welcome back. I was just kind of telling them what I felt with my human design business. What was yours like?
So I actually was just going to mention that I feel like I need to do more than just one because my memory is not good. And if I don't I need a recording or I need I can't remember things like that. And so the business one, I have all the stuff she sent me and I was looking through it the other day, but I was like, I don't remember most of this. And then when I did my very first human design reading with her for me and my kids, I got so much out of it, but I feel like that was years ago. I've been knowing about it for a long time. So if I did one now, I think everything would land differently. Everything would mean it wasn't at the time I didn't fully understand. I was just trying to take in everything. But now that I know, I feel like I could do another one. And I feel like I just need to do another business one for the podcast, probably another one for me, for sure. A relationship one. I have all the questions. So I definitely need to book something with you.
I would love that. Well, and my process has evolved. You two got the original human design reading from a Morgan who had only really been doing it for a year. I'm now in year 5 of my experiment, and I'm building frameworks and I'm connecting dots, and now I'm using breath work with human design and creating this really holistic experience where you're integrating this new stuff into your body and starting to see what those shifts can feel like internally, as well as seeing them be part of the 3D plane and really put them out there into this actionable step. So I would love to do another business branding, because with business branding, it's really neat because what we do is we use your human design chart and four very specific gates of your human design chart to identify what is your brand. So what's the big blazing energy that you show up in? What's your message? What are the things that you can naturally speak to that you're already designed in your body to talk about, so that it makes it a little bit easier instead of you're grabbing for all this stuff of well, this person's talking about that and this person's talking about that. Maybe I should be talking about this. I'm trying to do it other people's way. No. We're doing it the most authentic you way. And when you're building a business, when you can put your heart and soul into something that you're already pouring into, it just feels better. It just feels, I know I say crunchy a lot, but it feels so much less crunchy. It really does. It does. You're just oh, I can lean into that. Oh, that's so nice. What a permission. It also goes over your audience. Who are the people you're going to attract? So when you know who you're going to attract and what archetype, there's mine style, the culture of my human design is I'm here to attract people who want to push the boundaries of authentic self-expression. Could that not be any more me?
That's beautiful.
I've always been someone who has touted this, just be yourself, and felt so frustrated and so hurt by watching other people not be themselves and how it affected me or how it affected them. And I'm to learn, I'm literally here to speak to people about pushing the boundaries of their authentic self-expression. Hell yeah, let's go. That was so clear in my body when I read that and I saw it. And I'm okay, this is this stuff's real. This stuff is really making sense to me. So so that's the business branding side of it. So I love, that's one of my favorite aspects, especially because I relate business to creativity. And when you make that distinction and also that connection, business becomes a lot more fun and a lot more playful. And we need feminine play and feminine love and compassion in the workplace.
Tell it, girl.
So bad. We need
Tell it.
Love that.
Oh,
That's so awesome. So what else do you offer? I know you started doing breathwork stuff. I want to hear about all the things.
yeah.
Oh my
Tell
God.
everyone your services. Tell the
Okay.
world.
Mhm.
I will. Okay. Yeah. So then I also am a breathwork facilitator. I live in Oregon, so I do offer breathwork. If magically you live in Klamath Falls, Oregon, come see me. Yeah, I do offer breathwork in person and also virtually. Breathwork changed my life. It helped me get into my body, out of my head, and into my heart, and into just this, and really process emotions and old stuff without having to really like go there. I was in therapy for a long time. I think therapy is absolutely incredible. I would never suggest to anyone to drop a therapist for an alternative modality, and pairing them together is pretty freaking awesome. So I'm all about that. But yeah, so I also offer breathwork sessions, and then one of the things that I focus on in with my clients is working with the human design transits. So every 6 days, there's a new theme that is activated in the stars that is affecting the entire collective. And I like to identify what is that theme and then see, is this in my client's chart? And then we work together. If you have it in your chart, you'll probably feel it. It's probably going to feel a little activating. You'll notice it coming up and you're like, oh yeah, there I am. And then if you don't have it in your chart, it can usually be a little bit of background noise, except for projectors, because projectors are deeply affected by the transits. So working with them, yes.
I saw you post about it the other day, and it was like 37 or 38. I don't remember which one. Yeah. So I like pull up my thing. I'm searching to see if I have it, and then I didn't have it, and I was like, oh, because I was so excited to learn about something, and I was like, not this time, Brittany.
It does. So all last week was it was the archetype of the fighter. So fighting for purpose, fighting for the things that feel good, fighting for the things that are right. On the high vibe side. On the low vibe side, it's just fighting for the sake of fighting, or feeling defeated and shoving down your light, so that because you feel like, I don't have anything to fight for. It's this lack of like purposelessness. So even if you don't have it, maybe you see it, or you saw it like going on like at work or in your family or in the greater ether of the world of like, I mean, think about all of the political things that occurred in this last week. We don't have to list them, but we can roll them in our minds and go, wow, there was a lot of fighting going on.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
fighting
feel like I had that.
So interesting.
Do you know offhand if I had that? I'm about to go check.
If you
my
have
chart.
38, let me see. You have 58. No, 38.
Okay.
Yeah,
like that feels like something that I can definitely relate with. And then all of your sessions you do record, right? And you can do them by video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for anyone.
I do everything online, and we actually meet together. So again, I haven't given up my corporate girly slideshow obsession. Niki knows. I'm on my team, and we had a slideshow every week that I made because I lived.
They were amazing.
Oh my God, I love that. I love that.
So now I've made slideshows. So if you do a individual human design reading with me, you do get the entire slideshow. I also send you a PDF of your chart and then a recording of the session, which is just so nice to just be able to go back and to see, what was that like? How did that sound? What did she mean by that? And then the other thing I offer is I always offer what I call a tune-in. So 2 weeks after your first initial reading, you have a free session with me where you get to come and we talk for like 30-45 minutes, sharing about what came up for you. How has your experiment been going? Do you have any questions? And if there's anything I can do to support you further, because I do offer larger programs where we really integrate your core 4 strengths, and we do human design and breath work, and we build them together, really letting the breath release those shadows and then let you step into your gifts so that you can feel more confident, more aligned, making decisions that just feel better, and just being able to walk into a room and just like have this air of like, oh, I feel so good in myself right now, instead of feeling like this.
Yeah. I love that you offer that now, that you're like, do like the check-in a couple weeks, because it's like you take away from after meeting with you and it's so much, and then like read through everything, and then you're trying to like incorporate it in your daily life, and it's like, am I doing this right? Like, this is what I think, but so having that after a couple weeks, I feel like is so perfect. I love that you do that.
Thank you. Yeah, because it is, right? And it's so overwhelming. Like, y'all
I
have
love that
tried.
she records a permanent file that you always can go back to and get. Back when we did them at work, I would just like take notes, right? I'm like, trying to catch it, right? And all the things. And it's kind of hard to like soak it in and be in the moment, but and also get your notes. So that's something that I really love now that you're doing this full time and to such extent with all the experience, is that we just got to be in it, right? I could just experience and flow and have all the downloads. I wasn't like, oh, let me try to like halfway and split my energy because I want to write that down and I don't want to forget, and like, all the things. And so you can just sit there, and then I got my recording. I can go back as many times to any section over and over. So that really is valuable. I love that they're recorded now.
Yeah, I learned it as an entrepreneur, right? You're constantly learning. I mean, I've technically only been in business since October. So what you hear today is going to evolve. It's
Yes.
going to change,
Yes.
and there's permission there for that. Like, I get to give myself that permission that like it's not always going to stay the same, and that's really cool. And
It
that's,
is.
like, wisdom.
I've loved watching you evolve, because it's been years that you've been doing this. And the last time that we went to and had lunch, and you were talking about like that you were starting to do it, you hadn't officially done everything, and you didn't have Instagram, you didn't have like, you were really in the beginning. And now seeing like when I see your post now, it just like, yes, like she's doing it, because I know how hard that was for you to like get yourself to do it. Yeah. So literally every post in my head, you have no idea the hype that goes on. I'm like, yes, it makes me so happy. And you're just showing up so beautifully. Your posts are beautiful. Seeing, you posted something the other day about, there was a guy talking about the reading you did for him, and like seeing that you're having impact.
I have to plug Jared. Jared is incredible. Okay. He is a breathwork facilitator out in Austin, and he takes you on the most delicious journey. It is so supportive, and as a woman, right? I've only been breathed by other women and had kind of some hard lines about that. But Jared is like, he's like a brother coming and just being, he's so gentle and so kind, and he just has this way of just really making you feel so safe. It's so cool. So Jared Mossman,
love that.
Rewired Breath. I gotta plug Jared because he's
send me the link to his Instagram or something. I'll put it in the description so people can go. Yeah. But seeing how like him talking about like, it's evidence of like what you're doing is working because you're changing people, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So I've loved seeing it.
Thank you. I'm so grateful that you gave me a space to talk about human design, because I think every parent should know it. Every business owner should know it. If you're a team lead, absolutely you should know it and use it every day. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff and cool ways to just be in it.
Yeah. Mentioning as a team lead, I think is so important, because Niki tells me everything, right? So I've experienced how she feels about her managers for years and years and years, and you using human design to manage her, because Niki, we all know she's a little hard-headed sometimes. You gotta like talk to her the right way. So she understands, right? So she had nothing but amazing things. She succeeded when she was under you. She felt like she had somewhere to go. She felt like she was growing. It was the first time that she really, in that job, was feeling like she had a purpose in her job. And when you left, the way that I saw her just and now she's gone, because the leadership style was different. And what you did for her was amazing. And it's because of human design. You were leading her in a way that she needed to be led.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for naming that. I receive it. I feel it. It was hard, to be like an undercover witch at a corporation, you know?
Yeah, I feel that.
And like, just, you know, and it's kind of funny because like, I can appreciate, you know, they tried to see me sometimes, but it was, I just approached everything so differently, and it wasn't a good fit. And I'm sure that there are plenty of companies and businesses out there that will find that this is a good fit, and I can't wait to be there to meet them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like every can you imagine if every leader, if every job you ever were in, you felt like you were so seen, and that like someone understood exactly what you needed to make your job better and easier, and knew how to like just communicate that to you. Like, Niki, I use often the example of when we were doing human design, and I let you know, I said to you, what if you saw every phone call as an invitation to share your gifts?
Yes.
And it
I
was
love
like,
that.
after that, you were like, yeah, oh, of course I can do that. Like, yeah, okay. And just like this explosion. And then the days where you were like, Morgan, I don't have it in me. What did I get to do? I got to come and say, I got you. And I got to pull that away because I knew that you were so aligned with what you were doing. And that was aligned for me, was to be a resource for you and take that off your plate and do what you needed me to do for you, so that you were able to be in your light and in your shine, which was on the phone, communicating with your client and having this delicious, juicy conversation that made them feel so seen. That's your gift. Your gift isn't all this other red tape bullshit. That's not what you're here to do. But I can do that stuff because I'm good. You want to go to battle? You want to go fight? All right, let's go. I might be a little more fierce. I will box you.
Yes. For anyone who doesn't know, like my history at that company, there was a natural ability, but not understanding myself on the level, you know, like prior to having Morgan, I got into trouble, right? I was written up. There were different like stressors and things, like nothing against the company, but there were things that would come out about my human design when faced with certain situations within the workplace that didn't always bode well. And so it's like sometimes my performance was peak and amazing and so good. And then sometimes I dropped, and Morgan came to be my manager on a lower point, right? And she brought me back up. At the time that I was really low vibrating when she came to be my manager, and she really brought me up, right, back to my heights again, and with a different and a newer type of power. So really just, I can't speak enough for human design and all the different tools, which segues me into, aren't you also building a toolbox for your clients that'll be debuting soon?
Yes, it is, you know, front loading this stuff, like, y'all, they mean it when they say building a business is hard, okay? So listen to them when they say it, because it is not for the faint of heart. I'm out a lot.
Seriously.
You know? Like, there's some shit around here. We doing stuff. It is a mess. Like, I'll think that I've worked through this thing, and then the universe will be like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Right. One more thing to uncover, one more thing to unpack. I'm fine. But no, now I like love it. Like, I'm like, okay, fine. You want to go? You want to come?
Yes.
Let's go. Because just, I love being so deeply connected to source. It just feels so good. And so what I decided to do is create tangible activities, steps, pulling from tried and true creators and modalities to have everyone have a tool that is specific to any gate that they want to look at, that they want to use. And then you get to bundle all 4 of them, put them together, and you get to have your little toolkit that you get to take with you every single day. And if you do my core 4 program, if you do my core 4 program that I have, we go through that with you. So what I do is we'll talk about what are your gifts in this trait, what are the shadows, and then we create this unique activity for you to take with you every single day. So then by the end of our 8 weeks that we're together, you have 4 specific things that you get to do that are so aligned with your design that you created and built from this place of like yummy deliciousness instead of like, oh, how do I do this? I mean, I'm biased. I created it, but I love it. It's been really beautiful to watch people just like this openness and like walking into a room and saying everyone sees me as warm when they used to walk into a room and say nobody likes me.
Yeah.
Now they walk into a room and say everybody sees me as warm.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You're doing amazing things. I'm excited. I'm immediately, when we get done, looking at all of the offers you have so I can decide which one I want to do, because I know I need something to do like the next step, and that's so exciting. I'm so excited for all the things that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm planning to have signups for the Core 4 program starting up again at the end of January. So when there's on my website, you can go in and you can sign up to be waitlisted. And then when that's ready to be launched, you'll be the first to know.
That's amazing. So exciting. I love it. Is there anything else that you want to add? We've been going for a while.
I know. No, I just that I could probably talk to y'all for forever.
Forever. I miss you.
Feeling in deep gratitude, divine feminine gratitude. Just so grateful for both of you and for everything that you have to share, all of the gifts that you are bringing to this world. Like, I just feel so lucky. I feel so lucky to know you and to love you both, and just so grateful. So thank you.
Me too. I was just saying that the other day because I can't believe how lucky I am to have the women around me that I have. Like, they're all strong and powerful and doing amazing things and changing the world. And like, these are my friends. Like, how did this happen to me? How am I this lucky? I feel that all the time. And I am just blown away by the people in my life. Like, me and Niki have like thought about who we want to have on the podcast. And we have like the entire year, we know people that we want, and just from people in our lives, because that's who we surround ourselves with. And that, I'm proud of us for getting here, because we definitely have not always been here. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
Well, it's been great. Britney, what are we talking about next week? You want to tell the folks?
So next week, we're talking about New Year's. Me and Niki are doing a program over the next couple weeks that's all like New Year's vibes, planning our year, doing all the things. And we're going to be like halfway through it. So we're going to talk about what we're learning through that, what we've been doing for ourselves. I haven't totally gone into the New Year's vibes yet. Like, I don't feel like a reset. And I've thought about that because I was kind of disappointed at first, because usually I have this big like motivation to get started. And I've realized that I am just growing every day, and a new year changes nothing. And that's why I don't feel it, because I'm pushing so hard. Like what you mentioned about like building a business is hard. And we just started a podcast. This is, I think, the 5th week. And if you look at week 1 and week now, whatever it is, like the quality, the way we've done it, like everything is elevated and we've changed because we see what we're doing and we're fixing it. And it takes a lot. Like, I can't even tell you guys, it has taken a lot of work, and people that like, yeah, it really takes effort. So people that are like feeling frustrated and stuff, like I would really just remember that it looks easy from other people. I know we've said that before, but it is a lot of work. So anyway, point being, we're going to go into our new year, how we end up planning our year, what we have planned for the year, all those things. And yeah.
Yay. Yes. All right, Morgan, any final words for our peoples or us? Or
no, just for you all. I just love y'all so much. And I
love you.
This was so fun. Really,
it was.
Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. I know you had a busy day, so thank you.
This doesn't even feel like anything. Doesn't even feel like work. This was fun. I got to play.
Saying that it doesn't feel like work, that's what makes me feel so good. That was what makes me feel like me and her like are doing the right thing. Yes. Because this like, it's so uplifting, it's so filling. thank you so much for being our first guest. We love you so much. Like having you is like the biggest honor ever. You're amazing.
God, you guys
Thank
are
you
so
for your patience with the glitches.
Yes.
We'll figure it out.
Of course, it's the worst today. We have our first guest, and it's like I'm just getting booted constantly. The editing is going to be a nightmare, you guys. This is going to take me. I'm going to be like 90 hours of editing. How nightmare?
Oh my God, true. And we're at an hour and 40 minutes. So.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be so long, but that's okay.
Hey, well, you can text us if you need moral support, but that's what I can give you.
That's
I got
right.
it. Yeah, I'll just text you my frustration. It's not working.
It's not working. It's too annoying.
We'll
and
be
I'll
there
just
for you.
send you a lot. Yeah, I'll just send
Thank
you
you.
all the love and
I love you
I
both.
love you in my heart.
All right. Well, thank you once again for tuning in. And our first guest, Morgan Benson, amazing. Check her out. We will have all of her links and contact information below. So follow her, support, spread the word, and tune in. Thank you for checking out ManifestHER. Until next time.
Thank you. Bye.